UFC Paris, Renato Moicano. Money Moicano is going to be taking on Benoit Saint Denis, my old friend who I exposed months ago. I absolutely exposed and got perfectly right. He's going to be taking on Renato Moicano in his hometown, his redemption fight. I'm going to be breaking down the full card. Let's get straight into the first one. Up first, Chris Duncan is going to be taking a Balaji OG. Duncan is, and both of these guys are both contender series. So it's good to see the contender series getting some notice, but both kind of had good, decent starts to the UFC, I suppose. Duncan's didn't go the best. In his last fight, he lost via rear naked choke. But he got a split decision win on the Edward versus Usman card. He has got only decision wins within the UFC so far. I haven't seen a great deal from Christian Duncan. Like, I seen a few of his Bellator fights. I think he had one or two Bellator fights. He's decent, but I just don't see Duncan really doing much. Duncan's not the worst underdog on this card, but I still probably wouldn't be betting him to win. Balaji, I'm gonna call him. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. Has got a lot of finishes on his record. I think he's only seen the judges maybe once or twice. And he's got some power. You know, he's quite big for the weight class. He's just got some good skills, and I think he's going to be a bit too fast for Duncan in this fight. I can see him getting him out of there. I don't think Duncan has really kind of came into fruition yet from the UFC, but I also think that's because I don't think he has much to offer. He's just basic in my opinion. Balaji, I think he's going to do a bit better on the feet in this fight. Duncan does have a lot of finishes early on in his career, but he got slept in the contender series when he first came on it. He came back then and came in it, but you know what? I'm gonna go with Duncan on this one as an underdog pick. But if you are kind of on the fence, I wouldn't be putting my house on Duncan. But listen, I'll go with Duncan on this one, even though he is a little bit basic. I think he might have a little bit, and I'll go with Duncan on this one. Next, Nora Claw versus Jacqueline Cavalcante. This is quite an interesting fight. Cavalcante fought a month ago, and she's taking this fight on a month's notice. She's surprisingly coming out as a 2-1 favourite in this fight. And I actually do fancy her in this fight, to be honest with you. She fought Nunes in her last fight. It was a split decision. But I just think she's kind of coming on a good momentum. It must be said, both of these are quite solid on the feet. Both have finishes on the feet. You know, Nora has a lot of finishes in the first and second round throughout her career. She's been in the UFC for about a year now. She beat people like Josephine Edwards. Not the biggest name, obviously, but still a decent win. She doesn't really like seeing the judges, so I don't think it's a clear win for Cavalcante. I think that she's just a little bit too sharp on the feet. And even though it is 1-1 turnaround, I would be kind of confident that she'd still be in shape. She must have known about this fight pretty much straight after her last one, so she's still lean, she's still in shape. She didn't really take too much damage against Nunes, so that's why I'm going to pick her in this fight. She's a favourite, which actually does surprise me considering that she's taking this fight on 1 month's notice as well. But I go with her in this one, and she's Portuguese. She's going to have the crowd against her with this one, so yeah. Next fight, Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. Sorry. We got a bit of a weird one here. We have a Mexican fighter coming to France, which doesn't happen that often, versus a Spanish one just across the way. Daniel Barez is 35. He's a flyweight, he's 35, and I don't really see him doing anything within this division. He's got a lot of first round finishes in his career, but they're against nobodies, okay? Absolute nobodies. He got finished in the first round in his only UFC fight. He lost on the contender series to Carlos Hernandez. He's picking up wins against no one. I don't trust him in this fight. He's got good wins against bad people. That's the way I look at it. He's 35. It's not like this dude is in his prime. He might be in physically, but you know, he's had a lot of fights. He's lost 6 of them. He's won 16. He's not getting any younger though. That's the thing. He might be kind of upward of his physical nature, but he's not getting any younger. He's not getting any younger in his fight, and he's yet to get a win in the UFC. Now he only has had one fight, but he had a contender fight as well. And with Victor, he's coming up with a split decision loss to Felipe dos Santos, and he lost to Tim Elliott as well. He has got wins in the UFC, which is going to stand to him in this fight, and he won on the contender series as well. He's lost though. He's lost to Tim Elliott, and he lost to Carlos Hernandez as well. Tim Elliott obviously is like a mainstay within the UFC flyweight division, but if you lose to Tim Elliott, I think you're kind of fucked. Felipe dos Santos I can get behind because he gave Manel Cape a lot of problems on short notice even, so that's not even the most humiliating loss. But I'm gonna go with a nice decision here. I'm gonna go with a nice decision here for Victor. I think he's gonna get this one done. I think he's gonna get a 30-27. I could even see him dropping him early on, and then just cruising the fight, doing more damage, and just being better everywhere in better positions. I just don't trust Daniel at this stage of his career for flyweight as well. He hadn't shown me anything against top level opponents in the UFC, and not even in the UFC, but just decent level opponents to pick him in this fight, because at least Victor has some wins in the UFC. Do you know what I mean? He has some wins in the UFC. He's got 2 wins in the UFC. He's fell short, but at least he's got something to work with. So I'm going to go with Victor 30-27 on that one. Next up, Ailin Perez versus Darian Zalesvyakova. I hope I said her name right. I'm going Ailin Perez on this one. Straight to the point with this one. The problem with Daria is her grappling. I think she's susceptible to that grappling. You know, she's got a win in the UFC. She's got a unanimous decision win, but I just feel like she's going to be lacking a bit of the grappling in this fight. And both kind of evenly matched on the feet. You know, I don't think Perez is a million miles ahead. She's coming off a good win against Edwards. I feel like Edwards loses to a lot of the flyweights, to be quite honest with you. She did get submitted a few years ago. She's got some good wins on her record, like, do you know what I mean? So I feel like Perez is going to be able to get this one done. I feel like she's going to be able to just hold her down in this fight, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to go with Perez 30-27. That's my prediction on this one. Next one, Taylor Lapras versus Mince Morales. I kind of feel a bit like, as an Irish fan, I remember watching him fight Caelan Loughran, and that was a tough one. But I'm going with Taylor on this one, to be quite honest with you. A, because I think he's French, and I don't think they're going to give him a loss in his hometown. And B, Vince Morales just ain't all that, in my opinion. I think he's very one-dimensional. Now, he has got a good few wins since he left the UFC, but he only got 2 or 3. He had a good few fights in the UFC, but that was a fucking while ago now. That was a few years ago now. He's coming back into the UFC now. He fought in August. This is less than a month's turnaround for him. So I just don't think they're going to give Taylor a fight where he's going to lose. He's coming off a good win against Cody Stateman, which is a fucking solid win. Cody Stateman's no bum. I think he's going to get this one done. I could see him finishing him, but I can kind of see him getting to a decision well. But I go Taylor Lapras I go him by first round finish. I go KO. Next one, Ludwig Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. I'm going Ludwig Klein on this one. He's got some solid ass fucking wins. Listen, he's coming off a good win against Thiago Moises. He's beat people like AJ Cunningham. He went to a draw with Jai Herbert. He's got a fucking solid win against Mason Jones. Mason Jones has gone on a fucking tear in the Cage Warrior scene. Shane Young as well. Like, he's got some very good wins. I think he's very good stand up. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a lot of I think he's got very good speed, and he's got a kind of a good arsenal on the feet. Roberts, he's coming off a loss, man. He fought on the Pereira versus Yuri card. Then he lost in the this guy's on the Ultimate Fighter as well. He was on Eagle FC as well, actually. I remember seeing that. But I just don't really see a path to victory for him in this fight. I think he's in there to lose. I think this could be a nice way for Lovick to get a ranking beside his name, or get into like a Terence McKinney fight, or if Edson Barbosa isn't in the rankings anymore, a fight like that, someone like that. Just kind of get his name out there a little bit more. But I'm going to go with him on this one. I think Roberts is coming off a loss. I think he's in there to lose, to be honest with you. And I expect Lovick to get this one. I'm going to go with a first round finish, first round KO. Next one, Umar Sy versus Dan Wing Young. I'm going to go with Umar Sy on this one. Undefeated prospect, light heavyweight. He's fucking big. He's got actually very good grappling. He's big, but he's not fat, if that makes sense. He seems to be getting a lot of first round rear naked chokes. He's getting punches from the back mount as well. I saw a finish with that. So I think he's going to be able to get this one done on a finish. Dan Wong Jung is coming off 3 losses. Carlos Solberg, Devin Clark, Justin Jacoby. He hasn't fought in over a year. He hasn't been active. He's got a good win against William Knight, which is actually decent. He's very big for that division. But I just think the lack of inactivity and the fact he hasn't won a fight in a long time isn't going to do him any favours in this fight. If I was to bet on this one, I'm going to go with a first round submission. I'm going to go with a first round submission, probably a rear naked choke, because he seems to get them in a lot of his fights. He's coming off a first round rear naked choke back in May. So why not go first round rear naked choke, first round submission. Next fight is Iman Urslav. Kutalaba is one of them real fighters in the UFC. Like, he's one of those real fucking funny fighters that everyone likes, but he's really just not that good. He lost to Johnny Walker. He's lost to pretty much anyone decent, like Magomed Ankalaev, Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker. He went to a draw with Dustin Jacob. He lost to Ankalaev twice, which is fucking insane. He's got good wins though. Like, he picked up a win against Roundtree. Like, do you know what I mean? He lost to Cannonier as well. The dude just Glover. Glover. I think he lost to Glover if memory serves, but the dude just seems to lose to everyone that's ranked or even semi close to a ranking. As much as I want him to win this fight, it is tricky. You know, like I said, he just loses to anyone good, which it does make it very hard for me to pick him in any fight. But I don't think he's really that great either. He's 4-3 in the UFC. He's coming off a good win, a first round finish, but he seems very inconsistent in his career. He seems to be on form 1 minute, then he gets fucking chinned, then he gets on form again, and I don't really like that with fighters because you don't know when they're gonna hit that. They're gonna hit that bad point again. Do you know what I mean? He got slept in the first round a few times. He's got rear naked choked. I don't like him in this fight. I'm going to go with Kutsalabi on this one. I'm going to go with him on this one. I trust him to get this one done, unfortunately. I've trusted him to get him against Johnny Walker as well, but he was fucking balled it. I'm going to go with Hulk on this one. Hulk better fucking win. Yeah. Next one versus Matt Favola. This is a good scrap. This is a great one to open the first fight in the main card, I should say. And Matt Favola, he's kind of been inconsistent. He had a good run there for a while. He was just got caught by Benoit Saint Denis, the man in the main event. Became a highlight reel. I'm going with Fraziam on this one. I think he's going to get this one done. I think he's going to be a bit too quick on the feet for this one. I think Matt Favola is a little bit basic. I think Fraz going to be a little bit too quick. I think he's going to be able to find his punches. I think he's going to get this one done. He did get smoked by Terence McKinney, but he's got some fucking good wins. Like, he got a good win against not good, it was split decision against Claudio Puelles. He's beaten Jai Herbert. You know what I mean? He's beaten Jamie Malakin. Like, these are some decent wins. Like I said about Matt Favola, he got smoked by Benoit Saint Denis. He was made a highlight reel in that fight. He's been kind of hit and miss in his UFC career. Like, he got smoked by Terence McKinney as well in the first round. But he beat people like Drew Dober as well, but he's got losses to Arman Tsarukyan as well. He's beat Jalen Turner, which is a fucking quality win. That was years ago. I'm gonna go with a decision win here. I don't think he's gonna be able to finish Matt Favola. I think he's gonna be a bit too smart to get finished. I don't think Fraz has the power to be able to get this one done. I think he has pretty much all the tools to win this fight apart from finish him. He's young, he's French. He's gonna be feeding off that crowd. He's going to be opening up the main card. They're all going to be screaming for him. I think that plays into it. And, you know, Matt Favola, is he still going to be over that Benoit Saint Denis KO? That was his last fight back in, it's nearly a year ago now, November. He's meant to fight Michael Johnson, I'm pretty sure, but that fell out. But I just think he's got a lot of demons to fight in there. And even like a little mental thing of, Saint Denis is on this card. Like, all those mental things add up, man. So I'm gonna go with a decision one here for Fraz. I'm gonna go with a 29-28 decision on 2 judges, and I'll go with 1 judge giving it a 30-27. He's coming on a nice little 3-fight streak as well. He beat Michael Figlak, who I watched a lot in Cage Warriors as well. So that was a nice little That was when I really started to become aware of him. But yeah, I'm going to go with him, 29-28 decision. Next fight, Charrier is the French beast, is going to be taking on Gabriel Miranda. Charrier is one that comes close to home for me. I've been watching Morgan Charrier for fucking years. Charrier was always just at the top of Cage Warriors. Like, he was one of their biggest names, and I always kind of wondered, like, damn, why isn't this dude in the UFC? But Charrier always just fell short against the bigger names in Cage Warriors. He lost to Vucenic, he lost to Hughes. You know, he beat people like Dean Truman and stuff like that, but he never really had any of those massive wins in Cage Warriors. Like, he lost to Hughes and Vucenic in a row, who were clearly the best two people in Cage Warriors featherweight division. Like, clearly the best two fighters. Vucenic now in the UFC, Hughes now in the PFL. Clearly the best two fighters. I'm still going with Charrier on this one. I don't think they're going to give him a fight in the front of the home fans and let him lose. Does he deserve to be in the UFC? I mean, it took Vucenic way longer to sign to the UFC than Charrier, and he beat him and was clearly better. Whether you thought Vucenic lost that fight to Hughes or Charrier even, you know, fucking suck it. He didn't. So yeah, I'm going to go with Charrier on this one. I go with Charrier by first round finish as well. I think he got him out of there in the first round. Charrier is quite a big name. Like, he did have a big French audience when he was in the UFC. When he was in Cage Warriors. It was just a matter of time, really. You know, but Gabriel Miranda isn't exactly terrible. Like, he's coming off a good win against Shane Young. He was scheduled to fight Billy Quarantina, but he's got no real big names. So I just don't see them giving Charrier a matchup where he's going to lose. And the bookies have him a minus 700 favourite. How can you not bet on Charrier in this fight? It probably isn't worth betting on because he's such a big favourite, but how can you not say Charrier is going to win? I think he's going to beat him everywhere in this fight, and yeah, I'm going to go with Morgan Charrier on that one. Blessed by the UFC coming to Paris, he was fucking blessed. Next up, Brian Battle, the Ultimate Fighter versus Kevin Jusay. I've watched a Battle now for a while now, and I like Battle in this fight. He's got a good few wins. He has got a loss in the UFC, but he's beat people like Tresean Gore, Gabe Green, AJ Fletcher. He was fucking Angela Lusa up for that eye poke. I like him in this fight. I think he's got very solid hands. He's even got a submission win against Andre Petroski back in the Ultimate Fighter, which is aging like fine wine because Petroski's a bit of a beast. He's a bit of a beast. I like him in this fight. I think he's got good skills. I think he's got very good hands. His straight punches I really like, and I think he's going to be able to be consistent with it. But watching him for a while, so I like him in this fight. Kevin doesn't really stand out to me as regards anywhere. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's got 2 wins, which, you know, isn't exactly much, but picked up a nice first round win against Kiefer Crosby, and then he beat Kennan's son. He's got a nice win against James Crowell before he signed with the UFC. But I'm going to go with Battle on this one. I think he's just good at the fundamentals, to be quite honest with you. I think he's going to be able to sit into his jab. I think he's going to be able to find the shots. I wouldn't even be surprised if he gets him out of there, but I wouldn't bet on it. I think he's going to win this fight 29-28. I think he'll win the first 2 rounds and kind of slow down a bit. Battle is good on the feet. I just really like his fundamental striking. I really like his jab. I really like his straight punches, the way he sits into shots. And I like his the way he mixes it up. You know what I mean? Like, he's even got a submission win in the UFC as well. I like his striking. And I think he's going to get this one done. And I would bet on a Brian Battle decision. I just like Battle. So I'm going to go with him on this one. Next fight versus Joanderson Brito. When it comes to Brito, the first fight I watched him was the Jack Shore fight, and I could not actually get over the fucking speed of this guy's 1-2 and how obvious it was, but you couldn't do anything about it. He's got a good win against, well, you can call it a win against Jack Shore. He beat Jonathan Pierce as well. Jonathan Pierce, that's a fucking great win. He ninja choked him as well. Jonathan Pierce is a good fighter. He beat Andre Philly as well. Like, this dude's got some fucking good fucking wins. Diego Lopez as well. I'm going with him on this one. I think he's going to fucking knock him the fuck out. This dude has got such good speed, and he's fucking big for that division, man. Physically, he is big. I just think he's going to be able to find that chin. William Gomez is decent. Don't get me wrong. He is good, but he's undefeated in the UFC. He's people like Jared Ennis, Francis Marshall, like decent wins, but that was split decision as well. I'm going to go, I just think he fucking chins him in this fight, to be quite honest with you. I just really like this guy. I like his speed. I like the way he reminds me a little bit, now, hear me out, of Ilia Topuria's kind of style. Hear me out, hear me out. He doesn't exert a lot of energy, but he's moving all the time and he's doing something, but he's not dancing around like Dominic Cruz on his feet. Like, obviously he's nowhere near, he's not Ilia Topuria level, but he reminds me in ways of the way he's moving, but he's not exerting energy, but he's keeping you guessing. And his speed with the 1-2 in the Jack Shore fight, with the power behind it, is exactly why I think he's going to knock Gomez out. If I was to bet, I'm going to bet with a first round KO, genuinely, to be quite honest with you. I think he's going to get this one done, and that's going to be a great fucking fight. I'm looking forward to that one. He's a guy now I've had my eye on for a while, so I'm going to go with Duran Simba first round KO. Co-main event time. This is the big dog shit. Brendan Allen is coming halfway across the world to fight Narizdin Imavov. I'm going Imavov on this one. Brendan Allen is good, very good grappler. Insanely good grappler. Like, he submitted Paul Craig, submitted Bruno Silva, submitted Adrian Muniz. Like, he's got some very fucking good wins on the ground. But this fight is going to go on the ground, in my opinion. Chris Curtis took that fight on short notice, I believe. I could be wrong there. But took it to a split decision. And Chris Curtis has got hands. But I just think Chris Curtis is quite like a, not underdeveloped, but a smaller middleweight. I see Chris Curtis more of a welterweight. He's just fucking big. But I think Imavov is just going to be able to pick at him in this fight, to be quite honest with you. I just think he's going to be able to find the range. I do think Brendan Allen has a very, very good skill set when it comes to submission artist. I think he's probably the best single submission artist in middleweight, to be quite honest with you. But I just don't think he has the grappling as regards wrestling to get the fight down. It's all good having this insane jiu-jitsu, but if you can't get the fight down to the ground and in the positions you need, you're fucked. Which is similar to the main event, in my opinion. But I just think Imavov is going to be able to pick his shots. I think he's going to be able to dance around Brendan Allen, a bit like Chris Curtis did. You know, Brendan Allen slowed down, even though that was a 5-rounder. I think he slowed down in that fight, and Chris Curtis was landing. Chris Curtis was fucking landing in that fight. And I think Imavov is a bit of a cleaner striker. He's coming off a win against Jared Cannonier. He beat Roma Delizzi as well. He's beaten people like Joaquin Buckley. He came off that Sean Strickland win, and I think he's got a lot better. So I think Imavov's going to be able to get this one done. I think just Brendan Allen's going to have a lot of issue with the jab in this fight, and just Imavov being able to pick at him. Brendan Allen's striking isn't bad by any means, but he's taking you down. That's what he wants to do. When he gets you down, you're in a world of fucking trouble, because he's very, very fucking good on the ground. But I trust in Imavov not to be able to get taken out in this fight and put in a really bad position to where, Brendan Allen's able to do his work. Because it's been fucking 8 years since this dude's lost by submission. 8 fucking years. So he's clearly well-rounded. He's clearly one of the top middleweights in the world. So I think he's going to get this one done. I really do. It's a shame because I do like Brendan Allen, and I do think he is... A lot of people are saying he's Drickus' hardest fight. To people that are saying that, you're fucking stupid. I don't think he is, to be quite honest with you. I don't think this dude's beating Drickus du Plessis. No one seems to be able to beat that shit cunt now. So yeah, I'm going Imavov on that one. I'm going to go Imavov 30-27. I think he's going to win most rounds. Brendan Allen might have his moments. Brendan Allen might be able to get him up against the cage and get him down for a second, get a hook, and then Imavov will just pop back up. The French crowd are going to go loud, and then he'll just start working. It's called the Russian sniper for a reason, because he can pick at you at range. You know what I'm saying? Main event money time. My fucking boy Renato Moicano is going to be taking on Fraud Saint Denis. Me and Benoit Saint Denis have history, because I was one of the first people to pick Poirier in their fight to knock him out. All the people were saying, Saint Denis. Fuck that. I knew he was getting shin, and I backed it from the start. Anyway, I just want to get it off my chest, just in case you forgot. I am going Benoit Saint Denis in this fight. I do not trust Renato Moicano's chin, nor do I trust his stand-up to be able to keep it standing with Saint Denis where he can get takedowns. There is a few factors in this fight, though. It's not like I don't think Moicano can't win, because Moicano can definitely fucking win this fight. If you have a look at Moicano's resume, he has fought nearly all of the best fighters in the world. Okay, he's fought Jalen Turner, Drew Dober, Brad Riddell, RDA, Jai Herbert, Rafael Fiziev, the Korean Zombie, Jose Aldo, Cub Swanson. He actually, look at the Calvin Kattar fight. He fucking exposed Kattar on the feet in that fight. He beat Calvin Kattar. He lost to fucking Brian Ortega, but he fought Brian Ortega, fought Jeremy Stephens. This dude has been in there with fucking everyone. And another interesting fact I found out, he fought Jose Aldo in 2019. Benoit Saint Denis made his pro debut in 2019. So Renato Moicano has fucking boatloads of experience. And you simply cannot buy that. But I just think Saint Denis' striking is going to be a little bit too precise, because Moicano is susceptible to it. Fiziev got him in a nasty fucking combination to knock him out. Jose Aldo knocked him out. Ortega even submitted him, even though he was beating Ortega in that fight. He was fucking Ortega up, if memory serves. But he's susceptible to getting hit. And one thing I want to point out in this fight, if you go back and look at that Jalen Turner fight, look at the first round. First opening exchange, Turner hurt him to the body twice. I've said in my previous videos, Benoit Saint Denis' best attribute, in my opinion, is his body kicks. Just his kicks in general. Like, look how he laid Matt Favola the fuck out. Now, he did get checked by Dustin Poirier, like I said he would. And he's back in it now. Like, I think he's going to get a lot of experience from that Poirier fight. Moicano has fucking 10 years of it on him. So that's something to take into consideration. I don't think he looked great against Jalen Turner. I don't think he looked great against Drew Dober. I just think Moicano is he's getting old. He's getting old. He's not exactly old, but he's 35. I want Moicano to win this fight so fucking bad, because for me, Moicano's in a weird situation where, win or lose, okay, he could smoke this dude in the first round, get smoked in the first round. I just feel no matter what the outcome of this fight for Moicano, Paddy Pimblett is going to be next. So I'm a bit confused as to why he's even taking the fight. Like, are the UFC trying to push Moicano higher up the rankings so when he fights Pimblett, Pimblett will have a higher ranking? I don't know. Like, I don't think that's it, to be honest with you. But why is this fight happening? Like, it's a great fight, and Moicano, he's a stud. He's not going to say no to anyone. But I just feel like, win or lose, Moicano is going to be destined to fight Paddy Pimblett, regardless of this result. If the check is there, he's going to be headlining UFC London next year. And, he probably will beat Pimblett, or he could beat Pimblett. It depends on this fight. But I think this is a very close fight. Saint Denis' grappling is nowhere near Moicano's grappling. But I do think he has enough to keep it standing to where he can do the damage he needs. I do think Saint Denis has a good chance of stopping Moicano. And I do think he will stop Moicano in the second round. Because I think Moicano is very susceptible to that body kick. I think he doesn't have the best striking. His defense isn't great. He's been finished a few times. Jalen Turner hurt him to the body in one of the very first exchanges, if not the first exchange. And I think Saint Denis is going to be able to find the openings he needs to be able to get that. That's my opinion. But Saint Denis, if he wins this fight, he's straight back in the killers. You can have a seriously set of fun matchups with him. Him and Hooker is a great fight. Him and Fiziev's a fucking banger fight. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many good matchups for him. Stylistically, I think he presents better matchups than Moicano, but I just think Moicano's so funny. Like, he's one of the funniest fighters I've ever heard. Like, he's fucking hilarious. One of the best speeches. Like, I'd be rooting for him just to see him get on the mic after. He sells the fight. He knows what he's doing. He's a money man. He's a businessman as well as a fighter. I just don't see him winning this fight, unfortunately. I do see ways of him winning. I should say. It's not that I don't see him winning, but I can see ways of him winning, if that makes sense. Like, he has got so much more experience. He's got way better grappling. Like, if he can take Saint Denis down, I could see Moicano maybe even doing a turner on it. Because Saint Denis does have good grappling though, because he was getting in good exchanges. He was taking Poirier's back in their fight as well. He got knocked out. He didn't get submitted. And I don't think Moicano's striking is that good, at all, to be quite honest with you. I think he's very successful on the feet. I don't think he's going to have much for Saint Denis in the feet. And I just see Saint Denis getting him out there in the first two rounds. And I think he needs to, because
He's gas tank. There's so many people saying he's elite gas tank. This is all our record. Go back, watch my video, and Dustin's gonna knock him out. Everyone said he had great gas tank. I was saying, what fucking fights are you watching? He hasn't gone past the second round. I said it all, and I'm here to say it again. But yeah, if I had to bet, I'm gonna go bet on a Saint Denis second round KO. Not KO, but TKO. Maybe he hurts Moicano to the body up against the cage, and he's just raining shots on him, and then he just finds the right one at the right time. And with that French crowd, it's not going to be hard to get a stoppage. It's not going to be hard to get a stoppage. Moicano needs to be sharp. He needs to be alert. He needs to be very, very careful early on. The longer it goes, the better chance I think he has. Moicano. But I just think it's a dangerous first 2 rounds. But let me know what you think of my picks in the comments below, and let me know what you think of the main event. I think this is actually a very good fight night card for France. It's just missing Cyril Gane, that's it. But let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.